Yes, we have Pokopia.
Yes.
Oh, that's not what we're talking about today.
No, it's not. Welcome to the podcast. I almost said welcome to the stream, but this ain't a stream.
Oh,
it's a podcast.
Not quite.
I almost crossed the streams again. Anyways, what are we doing today, honey?
We're talking about remakes. So
This is an important one, actually.
we were originally going to talk about we were originally going to talk about 2 remakes, but then Benson said something about a 3rd remake.
We're going to talk about my fuck up? All right,
but
cool.
we realized...
Oh, no, let me say it.
Okay.
So, if you remember the previous episode, Battlestar Galactica was talked about.
Yes.
And she hated that. And I was like, I think there's a remake in the 90s that involves bugs and shit. I have to correct myself because I've been on a kick for another sci-fi series, and I crossed the stream somehow. I was referencing Starship Troopers.
Yeah, not the same thing.
Not the same thing at all.
There might have been a remake, because I think we do have a Battlestar Galactica DVD that's like the 2000s. But okay, Battlestar Galactica is a very confusing series.
Yeah.
A very confusing franchise, because it's mostly TV shows, but then there are some movies, but I don't know if any are like remakes or if you have to watch certain things. So, I think Battlestar Galactica was a one and done thing.
This was that was my bad.
It's okay.
I love Starship Troopers. I think it's great. I crossed the streams. How did I do that? Battles. I don't know. My mind has not been there this month. So, I apologize. I'm a fake fucking fan. That is totally my B. Go ahead and crucify me in the comments. I will be getting my cross and nails, and I will be putting myself out in the backyard for all to see.
No.
So, yeah. Anyways, there's only 2.
We are talking about 2. One is more of a remake. The other one is more of a sequel, actually, than a remake.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I would say so. I think so.
What makes you say that?
Well, we'll talk about it when we get there. But, so we have Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and then we have the Blob.
This is a very important thing, because it's like, didn't you already talk about that? Why don't you talk about that in the original episode? Well, because they take...
4 things to talk about in the original episode.
What? Well, I mean, that, but also, like, the remakes is important. Mm-hmm. Because sci-fi remakes really do change... Remakes in general, I guess, change things up, but more so sci-fi remakes really change things up, especially from this era of the 70s and the 80s, because not only are there bigger special effects, but the tones are different. Like, extremely different. And also, sci-fi, like we've talked about before, like any other film, but mainly sci-fi, is used as a sort of carrier of a message of the times. The Body Snatchers and Blob remakes are very anti-authoritarian, anti-government, anti-consumerism, especially because family dynamics in the Body Snatchers was mentioned around the time of, obviously, things changing for the U.S. with Vietnam, Watergate, and all that shit between that and the Blob. But we'll get there when we get there. These vibes are different. They have the same plot. They have... technically, I guess you could say very big similarities in regards to how they word their theming, but
they both take some liberties.
The context of the history and said themes is important because, again, Body Snatchers was around... the original one was around the Red Scare and communism. It was way dramatic. This one is absolutely set during a totally different time where America, as we knew it from the 50s, is different from the 70s and 60s, and a lot of anti-authoritarian stuff really started to come into play, and especially noticed in the Blob a decade later, but again, we'll get there when we get there with that context for Vietnam especially. All right, honey, go ahead.
All right, let's talk about the Invasion of the Body Snatchers first.
Yes.
This is the one that I think is more of a sequel.
Okay, lay it on me.
Okay, so one of the things that stood out when I first started watching this is that it didn't take place in a small town. Mm-hmm. It took place in a city.
Yes.
Which is why I think it's a sequel.
It's not, though.
But it's more of a sequel than a remake. First of all, we get a Miles cameo. We do see Miles. He is running around the town basically trying to warn people that these beings are coming.
That's true.
Second of all, the fact that it's in a city was interesting to me, which is why I think this is expanding off of the first one than remaking the first one. Mm-hmm. Because we start in a small town where everybody knows everybody, but at the end of that movie, we see the pods being brought to the city.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just feels like it's more of a continuation. Obviously, it's not like a direct sequel. Like, we don't follow the same characters.
Yeah.
It's just set in, like, the same kind of world.
Mm-hmm.
But I would consider this more of a continuation than a remake.
Which is interesting, because this is labeled a remake, like, officially. So, that's interesting to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't disagree completely, but it is labeled more as a remake officially, so it is a remake. But good job catching those minor details.
Yeah.
Good job.
First of all, I love the Miles cameo. As soon as, like, his face was, like, right there, I was like, holy shit! Which is, like, it's not something you're going to get if you have not seen the original.
Oh, for sure. You're just going to think it's another part of the plot.
Exactly.
So, that's a good catch, actually,
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. And, like, the fact that it's in a big city, I do think it's a little weird. Like, if you have not seen the original, maybe you won't catch on to that detail. Like, it started off somewhere a little smaller, a little more remote.
Yeah, it's attacking rural America and then expanding to the cities.
Yeah, so...
Again, the Red Scare.
Yeah, so Elizabeth is, like, basically the way she's, like, justifying thinking that all these people are being changed is that she's, like, people watching.
Yes.
Like, not in a weird way, but she's just observing. And she's like, I can just see it on their faces. Like, they don't have the same feelings. Like, they have, like, no emotion. Whereas opposed to being in a small town, you know these people. You know what they usually act like. You know the feeling you get when you talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it definitely was an interesting choice.
Well, I mean, again, it plays into the theming and how they restructured the themes they wanted this sci-fi film to portray. You know, the world itself has changed since the America of the 50s. And there's even a line about typical American family values and structures being thrown out the window. I forget which character said it. I think it was Leonard Nimoy's character. But somebody said it, I think. And that was the most blatant thing of the... I think like that was more in your face than the Red Scare theming in the original movie.
Agreed.
Like, it set the tone immediately, which restructures how we view the pod people and these aliens immediately.
Which is another difference between the two, is we see more detail in this one about, like, where, like, how the pod people develop. Like, they don't just come out.
Perfect.
Oh my god, it's so weird. It's literally like a fetus coming out of these pods and, like, trying to figure out how to breathe. And oh my god, it was one of the grossest
They have
scenes.
the fiber structures like plants.
One of the grossest scenes that I have ever seen.
Okay, so talk to me about... Okay, let's get this out of the way immediately. What did you think of this one? You really liked the first one. What did you think about this?
I wouldn't say I liked this more.
Wow, I was going to say this is...
No, I wouldn't say I liked it more.
Yeah.
I think about the same, just in, like, different ways, if not, like, slightly less.
Well, it's interesting because the Blob and this remake are considered the greatest remakes of some of the greatest remakes of all time.
Oh no, definitely
and absolutely, and in many cases, better than the original.
I kind of liked the feeling of, like, not knowing a little bit in the original versus, like, this one. It kind of shows you exactly, like, where they come from and
That's true.
What's happening. Because in this case, we learned that they come from flowers that are not part of our world. They're literally, like, what's the word that I'm looking for? Parasites.
Yes.
They're parasitic flowers that, like, attach themselves into other bundles of flowers. And, of course, our female main character decides to pick one, thinking that she discovered, like, a rare flower, which she did. And
she did all right.
And it got the man that she was living with.
Yep. Absolutely.
She wants to break up with anyway. It's a whole fucking thing. She falls in love with the male main character, and which is so funny how different the styles are. This one was made in the 70s. The original was made in the 50s. And seeing Miles's character and how, like, put together and everything he is in that one, and then just, like, the difference of style, like, people styling, clothing styling, fashion in the 70s. It's just a drastic difference.
Disheveled, capitalistic, like, stressed out. I mean, this was around Vietnam, obviously. So this is huge. This was a huge moment in history. Again, that war really put things out of place. People started to distrust the government, you know? Restructured America, typically, too. This is also an era of films where everybody really took, like, a more serious approach to everything, including their aliens. And they showed the aliens as exactly why the flowers were so important in this. Plants. they're not actual humans. They only survive just like plants do. And at the time, because science evolves constantly, plants were like not feeling emotionless things. So, it's only fair the aliens adapt that way and turn into a plant to a human. It's fascinating in that regard. Like, the pod people, it's one thing where it's like they take over. This really takes the pod form and goes full on with the flowers, because when you look at the pods in the original, they could be classified more so as like alien pods. These are more plant pods, and it works though because they're so weird and structured and gross. I do like these aliens a bit more though than the original.
Gross.
I like the aliens in this one a bit more.
Why?
Because it's dissettled. It's so uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. They're way more disheveled and like not disheveled. Disengaged from emotion. What are you looking at?
I was just trying to see where I know our male main character from. He was
Donald Sutherland.
Yeah, he was Cornelius Snow in the Hunger Games.
Good for him.
I didn't know that.
But there's so more. I mean, the original had it too, but I think this one does it better, where they're disengaged emotionally. And also they work more as a cult and a hive mind than the original movie, in my opinion. And also their fucking screams.
Oh my god, I kind of didn't like that.
What?
I mean, okay, I did and I didn't.
Okay.
Because it definitely put on a more alien approach. Like, it took a more alien approach in this. Whereas in the other one, we got, like, we know that they weren't from here, but it's more of just, like, these are people that look like people that I've known my whole life. And that, to me, is scarier than an alien body screaming at me.
Well, I mean, this isn't an alien body. This is someone you know. So, and
but
that makes
they're just screaming.
But that makes the ending more horrifying, though.
Oh yeah, that's
you know what I mean?
fair.
Like, imagine you're going your whole day and you have your emotions. And you're meeting with a friend, and they do that. You don't know what the fuck is going on, and you get turned into one of them. So
that's fair.
You know, like that's it. Like, it adds to the uneasiness because it's not enough just to be disengaged emotionally in this America, because again, drawing parallels to the Cold War, this is a remake, and so they have to add something still in context for everything going on. And you know what? They really nailed it, in my opinion, where the veil is drawn, and we already know everything in America's fucked up. What could be the actual cause? It's not just pod aliens, it's an actual hive mind of aliens that is growing and making things dissatisfying. And again, that draws to, maybe I'm speaking in circles here, but that draws to the Cold War as well, parallels back then with the Red Scare. But I think this one does it more directly because it's tackling it head on. It's not trying to be symbolic it is symbolic, but not like vaguely symbolic. It's attacking it head on, saying that anyone that is going against the traditional values is absolutely an alien and is trying to destroy humanity from the ground up. And also there's consumerism in there, a lot of the aliens are engaging in capitalism and brands more directly than the humans. So it's tackling that head on. And it's not the first one to do that. Obviously, we get some other movies like that. What is it? I forget what is the alien? Oh my god, I'm so bad at this. They Live, I think that's the one. It's the alien movie with the glasses. It's a really fantastic film. The dude's wearing these glasses that shows that everything in the capitalist society is alien-based, and it's subtle messaging to be like, consume and all this shit. Yes, it is They Live. I'm absolutely right. They Live. It's this one.
Oh.
It's about this guy it's based on a short story. The ruling class is camouflage aliens, and they're basically driving everybody to reproduce, to consume, to buy, and that's it.
Reduce,
with subtle...
reuse, and recycle.
Okay, that's enough out of you. But this is an era where, like, the more subtle symbolism with the big reveal at the end is no longer there. Movies are being used as, while they have their symbolism, as a more direct approach in the 70s and 80s to their symbolism, because before it's too late, we need to really hammer it down. There's no beating around the bush. And they did it with this one. And I think that makes the ending more scary because our main character is hiding after destroying an entire factory of pods. Like, that's the other thing about this, is that he really took more action than our main character in the first movie. There was a lot more direct involvement in fighting back against the forces. And it works because it shows, instead of trying to warn somebody, it's telling people take action now. but then it has the bleakness at the end where maybe it's already too late. Because we get the reveal that Matthew, our main character, after getting separated from its Nancy, throughout the movie.
Elizabeth.
No, Elizabeth. No. I'm talking about the end scene.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah, Elizabeth got turned into a person. We know that. So, basically, the ending is Nancy regroups with Matthew, who we believed, after he was hiding out, that he was acting emotionless and disguising himself among the aliens. But then he's walking around, and she sees him, and he's like, Matthew, thank God. And she's showing emotions, and he's just standing there, and then he screams and points, showing that it's too late, and maybe it's all for nothing, and that it really is too late in this society. It's very different from Body Snatchers in that regard, because it's trying to warn you before it's too late. This one's saying fight back, but maybe it's already too late. Maybe the bleakness is already there. So that's why I like the more direct approach with the scream, because it's showing this alien race already winning, and the very select few that do hear the actual differences are already gone at that point. We assume Nancy is going to be gone at that point too. So that's my take on that.
That's fair. I still think I didn't like it as much as the original. I like that. I like that more like subtle approach as opposed to like
which is fair.
That's literally what they did.
Well, yeah, it's a horrifying scream though. Like it's a great scream.
It's better than some screams I've heard.
All right, shut the fuck up. You won't let the Empire Strikes Back go, will you?
Never.
Okay. It's an actual scream though that's meant to send chills down your spine, because the whole it's also goes against the grain of the film, which is an unsettling atmosphere. Like there's a lot of running, there's a lot of close-up shots in crowds, claustrophobic, and then it all explodes when they start screaming. It's more wide shots at that point. So the unsettling atmosphere is cut through with a metaphorical knife, which I think I like a little bit more, because there's like this weird payoff to the theming. But also that the original does too. Mm-hmm. I think I like the remake more though, because it actually expands on the bleakness of the situation. Yeah. Because, again...
No, there's a lot that I liked better. I did like that we got more of a where did these things come from?
Yeah.
Because the first one, we had no idea. There was really no world building other than we were in a small town.
Which I guess works, though, for that. Making it more mysterious in that regard. I can't disagree with that.
You don't always, we've talked about this before, you don't always need to know the how or the why for it to be a good movie. But sometimes a little expansion on the world building is helpful.
Yeah, I also like the characters themselves in this one. Like, from Leonard Nimoy to Jeff Goldblum, obviously, which was a whiplash. I forgot he was in this. I was like, oh, hey, here we go. Jeff Goldblum! Love that man. He's a national treasure.
He is a national treasure. I know, I liked him in this one a lot.
Yeah.
He played a more minor role.
Yeah, but I liked the characters in this one more because they're flawed. Like, yes, the characters in the original are flawed, but they're viewed as the perfect society. Like, the perfect American landscape. So,
yeah, this one, our main character, Elizabeth, is living with another man, but we know they've been kind of on the outs for a while. Not that excuses the emotional cheating that happens in this movie.
Yeah.
But it's very clear she has feelings for the man that she works with.
Yep.
And so, like, through the whole thing, she's, like, having a mental breakdown. He doesn't believe her at first.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, this man is not who I thought he was, because, like, he's a completely different person. And everybody else is telling her, you sure it's not just your relationship issues speaking for them? Like, you clearly don't want to be with this man anymore. And you aren't, like... You're not dealing with it. So is this your way of dealing with it? And she's like, no, I'm telling you, this is not the guy I got into a relationship with.
I think I like that more about the remake too, though, because it shows the humans aren't far off from the aliens in regards to the theme. And the only reason they reel back is when the veil is finally drawn and they realize what separates them is human connection and emotion and what they used to have before it's too late. And that makes the stakes higher, in my opinion. Which I like more. Like, yes, the aliens are more direct in the remake, but it pays off because it really makes, like, the aliens and humans not that more different until everybody finally realizes, oh my god, there's actual bodies that look like us that are, taking our personality when we sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that makes the stakes higher, is that you don't realize until it's too late. That type of thing. That, wow, we aren't that far off from this after all. Again, it pushed the boundary of sci-fi where it's like, we're not too far off from this idea after all. So I think that's why I like the remake a little bit more, and the soundtrack is amazing in this.
Yeah.
There's something about the soundtrack for sci-fi horror movies between Alien, The Blob, and this that like slaps so hard in regards to unsettlingness. The 70s and 80s had some of the best horror soundtracks in general anyways. Need I say less about Michael Myers and all that shit and Nightmare on Elm Street. But I think that's why I like it. And the body horror aspect. Ah, the light is blinding! Oh, the veil has been drawn back. Symbolism, communism, it all comes full circle.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
For all of you that don't understand what just happened and are listening on Spotify, we have a little sheet covering the window so the light doesn't always filter through, and it just fell back. So the veil has been drawn.
Because it's only being attached with tape.
This is communism. Ugh. Anyways, I really like this remake and the original.
Yeah.
I think I like the remake slightly more just
That's
because
fair.
of the atmosphere more, and I think the body horror elements.
That's
Like,
fair.
oh my god. The special effects in this were amazing.
Yeah, no, it definitely leaps and bounds different. You can tell, like, even with this just being, like, a 20-year difference, which seems short for a remake, but
I mean,
given, like...
first of all,
well, yeah.
not anymore.
Well, I know.
Not
I know.
anymore. We got the Moana
I know.
remake coming soon. What the fuck?
I know.
20 years
Well,
seems like...
that's Disney.
20 years is light years. How to Train Your Dragon.
Well, okay. Well, I was just saying, which seems short, but when you compare, like, a movie to the 50s and, like, all the technology, like...
In the 70s, yeah.
That we had, like, leaps and bounds, of course, like, the 70s was still limited compared to, like, what we have now, but...
Everything, I mean, 20 years from now, it's going to be limited to what we have now.
Leaps and bounds.
Maybe.
Different.
We'll see.
So much different.
Oh, yeah. The special effects were amazing. I mean,
I do have a complaint, but I have a complaint about any movie
oh, here we
that
go.
does this. It's the blood. It looks like tomato soup.
Yeah.
Every
I
time.
get
And there's
it.
another movie that I love with my whole heart that also does this.
What's that?
Sweeney Todd.
I knew it. That was 2000s, though. That definitely has no excuse. That
But,
one
like,
definitely
when
has
blood
no
just
excuse.
looks like tomato soup, and you don't get that, like, red thickness, like, with, like, the blood clots.
I think
like,
this one is better, though, because, like,
Mhm.
when Matthew was attacking the bodies and beating them in, ugh, that was horrifying.
Oh, yeah, no, that was gross. And...
Oh, when Elizabeth's body collapses in?
Oh, both of these movies deal with a lot more body horror than the originals.
The remakes, yes. Oh
my god.
What'd you think?
And we'll talk about the Blob in a minute because that one gets really bad.
When Elizabeth's dying, the emotional value, like, it's so sad, obviously. First of all, do you feel like you had a better attachment to these characters than the first movie? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we saw more emotion with them. Like,
Yeah,
we saw Elizabeth,
raw emotion.
We saw Elizabeth open up with Matthew a lot more than, like, with Jeffrey. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about her character at first because she seemed a little ditzy.
Yeah.
Like, like, just with, like, the way she is with Matthew, it just felt very, like... You're my safe person, so I'm just gonna, like, let all my brain cells go down. And, like, I'm not knocking that because I find myself, like, when you're in a comforting relationship, everybody does it. Like, you let your brain cells go out the window for a little bit when you're with, like, your safe person.
Yeah.
So I get it. But, like, just the way she was, like, giggling and just, like, attached to his hip, like, all of the time. I didn't think I was gonna like her.
Why? Could you see yourself in her?
No, because she was irritating me.
Could you see yourself
I don't
in...
giggle that much.
Are you
Not
sure?
in that weird flirty way.
Okay, fair
I
enough.
don't flirt with you anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
The magic's-
actually bullshit. You don't
the
flirt
magic's
with me anymore.
gone.
The magic is not gone.
The magic's gone. I am now a pod person.
I try to flirt with you every day, and you always say, honey, just stop it.
No, I don't. I say we're engaged. Because you say you come here often so many times. And you know what my rebuttal is now? I am now.
No, you just say, no. And you walk away.
That's fair. That too. But, yeah, I figured you'd like these characters more. Because, again, they're not like the perfect image that was seen from the 50s, 40s, like in the advertisement back then. We are allowed to see a lot more flaws, and it makes things relatable and really horrifying when maybe the aliens had already won and it was all a big trick. But that's when the human emotion part comes in and the connections part comes in and trying to go back to our roots. It's so fascinating to me. But that makes Elizabeth's death so much shittier.
I know. You know what was coming.
Yeah.
Like, it is, even though I do still feel like it's a continuation, it is like a remake. So we know...
Beat
like,
for beat.
Basically.
Yeah. Except for the ending. The ending was like...
Yeah, the ending was such a surprise because Benson had come downstairs and was like, oh yeah, he's gonna kill them all. And I'm like, spoiler.
Well, because you looked at me because you were like... Oh no, and I'm like, oh, he's gonna kill them all, don't worry. He's fitting in, though. He's disguised.
And then, like, 2 seconds later, he fucking screams at Nancy, and I'm like, you a fucking liar.
Yeah, you should have seen that.
You're a lying liar who lies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking liar.
And you believe me every time. The gaslighting is so real. But it makes... Elizabeth's death goes from emotional, and then like, the body horror makes it great because she crumples like a damn leaf.
Yeah, there's, like, these, like, vines that come out of the pods and, like, attach to your skin, and that's how you become the fucking clone, and then your, like, the body that you had just, like...
Crumples.
Oh my god, it's fucking disgusting.
It was like a leaf.
And I think this one was more emotional, and, like, you got more invested in this one because you see her body. Like, he's hugging her, and he knows that she's going to fall asleep because she cannot hold on any longer, so he's just hugging her, and he's trying not to cry, and she goes out like a light, and then 10 feet away, her new body pops up, and she's completely naked. So.
It adds to the hopelessness of the situation because
it does.
The only reason that he left her and she fell asleep was because he heard a ship, and he's like, oh my god, our final hope. And by the way, playing Amazing Grace on bagpipes in the background, that's fucked up.
Yep.
Because then it really adds to the, wow, this humanity's dying. Because then the reveal is the ship, it's too late, they're going around the world at this point with all these pods. Mm-hmm. So when he goes back, not only is the world lost, but his personal life is lost, and then he risks everything trying to fight it back, which then makes the ending worse because, damn, he lost, despite his efforts. So it's very impactful in that regard. I love everything. Like, again, it's not as subtle. I mean, it's not subtle. It's definitely not subtle. But I'd say it's it's weird. I said it earlier, I think. I go back and forth on if it's more subtle or less subtle in the original. I can't tell you. But it definitely has a direct punch with very nice little sprinklings of, like, background shit that make it worth it and subtly implement this in your mind. Mm-hmm. It's got a better environment in regards to, like, its scope.
Better pizza. Papa John's.
Okay, that's enough. We don't say racial slurs.
You are so right.
They
don't even have good pizza.
No, they don't. But either way, I don't know. But I really like that final sequence for all of those details because it really adds to how different the world is from the 50s and 70s. 20 years may not feel like a long time, but it sure is. And especially compared to now, that really is a damn long time. Everything's changing so fast, and it certainly did here. Took several wars, but yeah, good times. I got nothing else to say otherwise. I really like this.
I don't either. Yeah.
Shout out the dog hybrid. That was like their biggest excuse for special effects because there's this homeless man and his.
I didn't like that.
What do you mean you didn't like that?
I didn't like it.
The fucking homeless man and the dog. They were sleeping and there's a pod right next to him and our character's like, quick, wake up, and he's not waking up, so he kicks the pod, which comes back to bite them in the end because when Nancy's guiding Elizabeth, him, and her all through the crowd going, you have to blend in with no emotion. Elizabeth gives it all away because the damaged pod that he kicked earlier then made the dog dude hybrid.
Yeah.
And I loved the fucking banjo that played. Literally the goofiest moment in the entire movie, but it somehow worked and it was fucking hysterical.
Quick, play Rainbow Connection.
I was not Rainbow Connection.
I said, quick, play Rainbow Connection.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You're not funny. But fucking, I remember looking and going, oh yeah, this is the thing. She's like, oh!
I didn't like it.
Oh, it's so funny. And you know what? It worked. It's a smart way to bring the world full circle because it exposed them for their emotions. Yeah. Because of course humans are going to react weirdly to shit they don't understand. Of course the aliens aren't going to react to this dog-human hybrid. They don't care. They don't have emotions. They don't give a shit. As long as they're surviving, they're good.
I have emotions.
And it felt weird.
And I had negative emotions about that.
Oh yeah, for sure. It was a good time though. What do you? So final thoughts on the Body Snatchers movie?
I think I would watch both of these. Like, I don't think there's one that I prefer. I mean, I still might prefer the original, like, slightly.
Is there any
over?
What was the reason for that again? Is it just like the aliens themselves?
Just the atmosphere, the aliens.
Yeah.
Well, I liked the voiceover, like the past storytelling. I kind of liked how that added to the ambiance a little bit more.
Which is fair, yeah.
But, like, overall, I feel like they both had really great characters. I did like that we got more of an introduction to the aliens in this, that we saw more. I'm not always a fan of body horror, but I think body horror in the remake was used incredibly well.
You're coming around to body horror, I feel like.
It depends on how it's done.
We're exposing you to better body horror.
It depends on how it's done. So if body horror is there for a purpose, it's like you with jump scares. It has to be purposeful. It can't just be there for the shock value. Yeah,
that's true. But it's interesting, though, because I forget what I was going to say.
Oh, I do that, too.
Oh, I hate that shit. No, it's interesting because there is some good body horror in this, and I think it works very, very well. I really am blanking. It's going to come back during the vlog. This
definitely felt like more of a horror sci-fi than the original. It
felt for sure.
More like just like a suspenseful sci-fi.
Yes.
There is a difference.
There's a definite difference, yeah. It's like thriller and horror are different in their own regards. Yeah. That's why Alien's a horror movie and Nope is a thriller movie.
Nope.
Okay, thank you for bringing that overused joke back. Appreciate it. The light is exposing your sins! You didn't like that joke, don't make it again! Jesus didn't like that joke!
Okay.
He said, smite this motherfucker! Oh, that was scary. Okay, the light came back. But no, I love both movies. I think the Aliens, I disagree, where I like the remake slightly more. But again, atmosphere, tonal difference, I think that it composes it for me. But I think both Aliens are done really well in their own respective, historical landmarks.
You see how we disagree, and neither of us are being rude about it? Take notes.
The only ones to be rude to are conservatives.
Oh my god.
What? It's true!
Alright, let's move on to another remake that was made 10 years later.
After Body Snatchers.
After Body Snatchers.
And because...
10 years after, yeah.
Right. This is another remake.
Yes.
This one was the 80s, and boy, did it show.
Oh, boy.
Alright.
This
Blob.
One was released in 1988.
Mm-hmm.
Which I didn't think it was that late.
No?
I thought this was the 70s.
I thought it was early 80s. I knew it was the 80s. I just didn't remember when they... That's what I was going to say about Body Snatchers, because this movie's so anti-government more than the general scope of the Body Snatchers. This one was scarier because they had hope in the original to call the government and the police. The police and government were already aliens.
Yeah.
In the remake of Body Snatchers.
Yeah.
So, there you go. That's what I was going to say. Okay. The Blob. That's what I was going to say. Shit. My mind is a blob.
It's okay. So, The Blob is obviously the remake made in 1988. Great. And I don't know if this was just the YouTube version, but everyone was very red.
I mean, this movie really liked red aesthetic settings, like neon. Well, no,
because even at the very beginning when they were all supposed to be outside, everyone was red.
I don't know if that was the original or not. Hold on, keep talking.
I have no idea, but that was like the first thing I noticed, that like we're outside, it's bright, it's shining, the light is very, very pretty, and then people are just red. It looks like they're supposed to be the aliens that we were fighting. And then like even when they're inside, like it just, everyone had hues of pinks and reds throughout the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure...
Did it look like this? No?
It was like redder than that.
No, okay, so yeah. It was the rental then, because I don't think it was like, because I've watched this movie plenty of times, as we're skipping this makeup ad on YouTube to cross-reference, because I meant to cross-reference before we started with you. It was never like this.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just the beginning.
See?
Oh, maybe it was, I don't know. It might have been.
See, that wasn't like that though, right?
No.
No?
I think it was redder.
It was definitely YouTube then.
Okay.
Because as much as this movie likes its red and blue aesthetics, it was not as bad as when we rented it on YouTube for this shit. So it was like deep red for most of it. So
it looked like that one, the troll from Halloween Town 3.
It kind of looked like you mixed Kool-Aid in a filter kaleidoscope and we're like, here you go. I don't think it took away from the movie, though.
No, it was very noticeable.
It was, but I think that was YouTube's rental. Because, again, the clips and all the shit I used to watch it on channels were never that red. I could be wrong when we get the DVD, because I want a DVD eventually, but I never remembered it being that red. And I remember coming down and being like, is there something up with the TV? And it was not.
Yeah, no. So
talk about the Blob.
This one takes a lot more liberties than the original, and I think unlike the Invasion of the Body Snatchers, I have a preferable option. I would watch one of these more than the other.
It's the 50s, isn't it?
No.
Well, damn! I was wrong.
Absolutely not. No, it is this one 100,000 times.
Yeah.
First of all, let's talk about the body horror aspect
since it relates so much to the alien itself.
It relates.
It wasn't even really a big alien. It was more like a virus, they said, which is different.
It is different.
It is different.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the body horror. Go ahead, and then that leads into the alien.
Oh my god, it was so fucking gross. We were discussing on what to do for dinner because Benson had reffing last night, and usually we eat late when they get home.
Yeah.
So we were trying to figure it out, and Benson's like, you know what, I'm kind of glad that we're not eating right now because you're going to want to throw up whatever you eat with how gross it is. And oh my god, I thought they were exaggerating.
I was not.
No, it's disgusting. You see everything. There is no, like, fade to black. There's no standing off the side. Well, what's supposed to be a fire is right in front of you, and there's, like, no effects. And it shows just how, I mean, like, if we thought the technology advance from the 50s to the 70s was huge, how about the 50s to the 80s?
Oh yeah,
drastic difference.
I mean, even just like when a body's not being dissolved by the blob, like you look at how the blob moves in this one, so much better,
so much different, so much better. This is what I want my gelatinous cube to be.
Oh yeah, so the bodies were melting a lot. How did you feel about the body horror effects in this?
Awesome. Disgusting. Hated every fucking second of it, but I also loved it.
What was your favorite instance of these special effects? What was your favorite one?
Paul.
Oh, the beginning?
Paul, the beginning. My fucking god, it was disgusting.
Yeah.
Literally. So, first of all, this movie takes liberties. We think that Paul, who plays on the football team, that Paul is the main character of this. Well, we're sorely mistaken because Paul is the second to die.
Yes. Right after the homeless man that makes first encounters with our titular blob.
Yeah, and he's on a date with Meg, and they bump into the town bad boy, who everybody hates because he's always getting into trouble and always is ending up in jail. He just turned 18, so like we see the cop at the beginning say, "You're on your last strike, dude. Now that you're 18, no more juvie for you. Like you're going to the big halls." So we bump into him, and he's trying to help this like homeless guy who, like, he just chased into the street because he has this like weird goo on his hands.
Yep.
And Paul and Meg, who are on a date, accidentally run him over. Mm-hmm. It's an accident.
It was an accident.
And then they bring him to the hospital, and as they're in the hospital, Paul sees that his body is like completely, like the homeless guy's body is like completely covered in like this goo that was just like on his hand. Mm-hmm. And Paul gets stuck in it. And then they just see like the way oh my god, I don't even know how to describe it. He is completely covered in this goo that's like dissolving his body. That like he's literally frozen mid-scream. And I don't know how you see that and think that, what's his name, Brian, and think that Brian did it. Yeah. Everyone's like, I don't know how he did it, but I'm gonna plan this murder on that guy. I'm like, what the fuck do you think he did?
Oh yeah, I love my favorite moment of the special effects was in the movie theater when or the projector guy
Yeah.
When what I'm assuming is the theater manager walks in and he's like, what the hell? And he sees the yo-yo dropping down. And he looks up and the projector guy's like,
oh my god, it was so gross.
and then our buddy gets caught as well. Oh my god, that was so disgusting. It was like blending reality and horror all in once.
Oh my
other favorite moment was, I would maybe say, the restaurant, the diner scene. Where the guy's trying to unclog the sink.
Oh my god, I hated that scene. I have a fear of garbage disposals.
It wasn't even a garbage disposal. It was a sink. That was
I know,
sink.
but it was so much like a garbage disposal.
You have a fear of a drain.
I have a fear of two things that I have an irrational fear of, and that is garbage disposals and ceiling fans.
Yeah.
Cannot do it.
So the sink gets clogged while our main characters are sitting in the diner. And what happens, honey?
Oh my god, he gets pulled down the drain.
And why did he get pulled down the drain?
Because he was trying to unclog the drain.
Yeah, so Fran was the waitress. She's trying to unclog it, and he's like, here, let me do it. And he's trying to do it, and he's like, you know what? And he sticks his hand in there.
What did I say? I said, don't stick your hand in that sink.
You looked away right as he stuck his hand in.
No, because I knew what was going to happen.
Well, it didn't happen exactly how you thought, because he then took his hand out, and then he sees the goo, and he's like, what the hell?
That.
And then the fucking blob reaches out attaching the dude's face, and sends him down the sink while the pipes are bursting with blood. Oh. And then in the most wild, symbolic thing ever, reminiscent of the blood explosion scene from Nightmare on Elm Street, fucking the blob explodes out of the sink onto the ceiling. That shit was so cool. No. That was great special effects, too. I know you say a lot of those eras age badly in special effects. I hope the movies we've been showing you for Sci-Fi have proven you wrong.
Yes.
And that it's just a select few movies that are bad.
For the most part, yeah.
Like Alien, Blob, Star Wars itself. I really hope this podcast is showing you were wrong. You just needed to watch more shit.
It is, but I still think Godzilla looks funny.
All right, that's enough of that. We don't even have a Godzilla theme. He's catching stray. No, he's catching strays, and he's not even on the fucking wheel. That's wild. Okay. Anyways, before I get too mad, yeah, the body horror. It's a lot more dissolving though. It's not like, Alien Takeover. It's like
a lot more gelatinous cubes.
It's like being melted, and being dissolved. Of course you do.
I love it.
I think the wildest scene they also did, because this was, I feel like, unheard of a lot for horror movies. They killed the child.
Yeah, the child.
The child got sucked up in the sewer.
It wasn't an animal, so it was fine.
And I love the scene where he jumps back out like you think he's going to be fine, but it's his dead body already melting, and then it goes back in. That was such a great, well-earned jump scare, actually.
Yeah, that was really sad.
You okay?
Really sad.
I saw your face. You're like, no, they got the kid!
I literally did say that.
Like, it was so wild, the brother's friend. I was like, oh, that brother's good. I'm like, oh, they'll make it. And then they got him. That shit was great. And also to think she would have died in that sewer if it wasn't for government interference, which we'll get to. Mm-hmm. But, actually, so anything else you want to say about the body horror? I mean, the other one, the most justified kill was the creepy guy. The pervert.
Creepy guy, the pervert.
In the car.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I've never seen her laugh at a scary kill in my life like that.
Oh, no,
because
so it was the third kill.
It was the third kill, yeah.
His
third and fourth.
Paul's friend, Scott.
Yep.
He's the one that, originally, set up the date with Paul and Meg, and he's in a car with this girl, and she falls asleep, and you can imagine all the creepy things he gets up to, and I'm like, don't be a fucking creep.
Well, not even just asleep. Not only did she fall asleep, but the blob got in the car and killed her.
Well, we didn't know that at the time.
Exactly.
Well, he goes to stick his hand down her shirt, and he got blobbed.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was laughing.
Was it good for you?
I was laughing the whole time because I'm like, he got what he deserved.
No, he did. It was so funny. But it was a really good case of special effects because those tentacles, man, holy shit. I mean, that was going to special effects and speaking on the body horror element, because these are two different drastic ways of body horror. One is body duplication and, you know, your own skin being uncomfortable. This one is dissolving and reinterpreting deaths for the human body in general. I think the special effects are still fantastic. I don't think this won an award for it at any point.
Oh, it should.
It should have, but let me tell you, I mean, the Blob itself, this one is much more lively. Many points it looks like it has a mouth as it's like in the sewer, as Megan is trying to like get out of the sewer.
It's Meg.
Meg, sorry. Meg is trying to like climb out of the sewer, and it pans down, and you see this thing's huge mouth gaping like it's groaning and screaming, which it does a lot in this movie. The way it's like wrapping itself around, even like you can see it's several moments it's clearly green screened, but it's not too much to detract and be a huge negative. But one of those moments being when they're running to get in the freezer of the diner and it's chasing them on the ceiling at a rapid pace. That was horrifying. Imagine that happening to you. That shit's wild. But the Blob itself was so good. It wasn't smooth. It was disgusting. Like, even now, I kind of want to throw up a little. It was bulbous. It was like, ugh. I don't even know how to describe it. It's different from the 50s Blob because it's way more, like, disgusting.
And it's way more front and center.
Oh, yeah.
It's like we talked about in the original that the Blob, like, barely felt like a character. This one, oh my gosh, no, it's front and center the entire time. Even when we're getting, like, the deaths on screen, the Blob is right there.
Oh, yeah, especially because, like, again, like, you know, it's got its vines. It's almost human in some ways. The way it, like, attacks things and, like, has these arms and tendrils. It's scary in a way. Like, it's duplicating bodies by dissolving them. My favorite moment was the moments where we saw it was already destroying things and winning, like when Fran, after escaping the diner, gets caught trying to call a police station as the Blob is dissolving around her. Like,
which is such a claustrophobia. If you have claustrophobia, like I do, like that, it's such an uncomfortable scene to watch because you're like, you want to hope for her, you want her to get out. He can literally get in there.
She's calling for a specific officer, and they're like, oh, he went to the diner, and we're like, wait, that diner? And then all of a sudden, you see his dissolved body up against the window, and then the way it all explodes around her. Oh, that was great special effect work right there. That was fucking sick. But the Blob itself, it's not gelatinous, I'd say. No. It's like taking like curdled milk, cheese, and everything in one pile. It's bulbous, it's disgusting, it's veiny in some regards.
It's red because of all the blood.
It squishes so much. Ugh,
it's uncomfortable.
It's so uncomfortable, but it's really earned uncomfortable. I fucking love the design for this Blob because it doesn't feel human, which is ironic because let's talk about the actual alien itself and the difference between the original and this one.
Well, we can talk about characters first.
Okay,
I don't think we really talk
about
characters, and then we'll end with the.
Go ahead.
The spoiler.
How'd you feel about these characters?
I liked that Meg, or at least like the female main character, took more point in this one. I feel like we didn't get a lot of the original female main character whose name I don't even remember. She took more point in this alongside of Brian, but I feel like she was our main character more than anything.
They did the fake out, that's why.
And I think totally did.
And I think that's great because it played the final girl mentality for horror movies so well.
Yeah.
And it was so smart.
I know, I liked it a lot. Brian, I mean, obviously, like, he's the typical 80s bad boy who's like a little over dramatized.
He looks like Rizzo.
Towards the beginning, we see Paul and Brian like arguing with each other, and like Paul's like, "You gonna get in the back of this car, or am I gonna make you?" And I'm like, "Oh my fucking god!"
Oh, you really found it.
This is fucking ridiculous.
Your favorite it's the 80s, of course it's overacted.
So overacted.
Your favorite moment was when they used the camera to crawl down the air ducts. That poor projector dude, when he's like turn up the air conditioning and he like looks in the air ducts and it crawls. You loved that scream. It's like, ah! That's.
I'm a sucker for bad screams.
You were like, ah!
I'm sorry.
Which is better, that one or the guy from Empire Strikes Back?
Better as in
like which one is
stupid?
Which one is your favorite for stupid? Is it ah or ah?
Ah.
Of course, Empire Strikes Back.
Empire Strikes Back. I'm sorry, nothing beats that one.
Okay, I had to ask, but It is that is another point to this. It's so overacted.
So overacted.
And it's actually, but it's good overacting.
Yeah.
It's good overacting. It's actually funny because the director, when asked about this movie's critical, because this movie originally was not hailed well.
Really?
No, just like the remake for Body Snatchers, they both weren't hailed very well at the time.
Interesting.
And then rehailed as some great classics. This one, when asked what the hell happened and why did it perform so badly review-wise and box office-wise, not only did he say obviously a bad ad campaign and being in a movie at the tail end of a summer full of great movies, he also was like, I don't think doing it with an edge of comedy was a good idea. So the overacting was on purpose.
Yeah.
So, and he knew that. But I think it plays to this movie because as wild as it sounds for a sci-fi horror movie, I think a Blob, no matter what the origin is, being this main character, I feel like having it as your villain, there's got to be some cheese. You can't play it safe. It's not like the Xenomorph or even the Body Snatchers. You can't just play it straight face. I feel like there needs to be some cheese in that regard.
That's fair, because having a main character who doesn't talk is so difficult to do.
Yeah.
They need to be front and center, but they can't say anything. So you need to find different ways to communicate what this thing is and how it's going to be utilized.
I think having the humans overacting more than makes up for it.
Yeah.
It's 80s flavored, but also he did it on purpose on top of it being 80s flavored. So
what does 80s flavor taste like?
Overacting. Saturated overacting.
Like the red saturation.
Yes, exactly. But that's what makes this movie so good in my regard, is it's so self-aware in that regard, but it doesn't take away from the main plot and the main theming.
Mm-hmm.
So you like these characters much more. Is there anything else you want to say on the characters?
No, I just wanted to talk about them real quick.
Oh, yeah.
They were just a little blip that I feel like we should have discussed.
I think the characters were great. I think the overacting makes them even better. You know what I mean?
No, I did like that.
That was great. Which brings us to the main character, the Blob itself.
The Blob.
What'd you think?
Oh my gosh. What is the Blob?
It's not
gross.
an alien in this one.
No.
We should probably get that out of the way.
Oh my god, this is probably the biggest difference between the original and the remake, because we don't really know what the Blob is in the original. We just know that it's this weird thing that doesn't like the cold.
And we assume it's an alien. I don't think they really say in the 50s movie, if I remember. It's been a while since that episode.
They don't really say it.
We assume it's probably an alien, though.
Yes, but we get told towards the end of the film when they're stuck in the sewers, and this guy from the government, he's trying to keep them locked down there because the Blob is also down there. So he's absolutely not, lock them in. I don't care about they need to be quarantined.
The casualties. They're passing it off like it's a disease going on, a virus.
Well,
which isn't entirely wrong.
Come to find out, this is not an alien.
Yeah, because it came down in the meteor. It crashes onto Earth. That's the opening, and we think it's a meteor.
It's a man-made meteor.
Because when Brian looks at them lifting the meteor, it's actually a capsule, and the biggest reveal is the fact there's an American flag on it. And that's where we get... What is it, honey?
Disgusting.
It's a virus.
It's a man-made virus.
That was supposed to be used for the Cold War.
Yeah.
It all comes full circle. And it got too big to control, so they sent it to space. But then it got too big for its container and came back down.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I think that reveal's so fucking good.
I know.
The top half, the entire time, we're led to believe is a meteor type of thing. Or some alien capsule, if you do start to pick up that it's not actually a meteor. And when you see the top half, it looks like it's dirt and meteor. But then the big reveal that it's a capsule, we're like, all right, it's definitely an alien. But then you see the American flag on it when they flash it close up, and you're like, oh shit! You're like, oh my god! And thus, the anti-government themes in this one are front and center. Especially because of the fallout from the Nam War before, and the getting towards the finish line in history for the Cold War. This literally was the greatest twist you could have done for a remake. in my opinion, while re-theming it correctly.
I don't know. Paul discovering that Meg's dad was the pharmacist was pretty good.
Okay, thank you, honey. And it adds up to a great moment where it really shows its themes front and center, because nothing can be scarier than what man makes with science, or man itself is the biggest threat sometimes in sci-fi. When there's like this basically showdown between the sheriff of the town and Brian and the government, Brian's just like, let's think about this for a fucking second. How do they know where that meteor was going to land and when it was going to land? And basically is outing the government to this city of people.
Yeah.
Which then leads into the final showdown, where, yes, the Blob is still weak to cold, which was indicated when they hid in the freezer, and it was going to kill them, but then he's like, ooh, cold, don't like that, and had a sensory overload and left.
Yeah, which I think, like, is the perfect reason to make Brian one of the main characters for this, because he just fits that mold of, like, fuck the government, fuck authority.
And it's also a guy that nobody believes. Mm-hmm. This also fits into how everybody was basically whistling, hey, the government can't be trusted, they're doing shit behind our backs, which is also a theme from the remake of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, when the aliens had taken over that. Mm-hmm. Showing very big anti-authoritarian turnings, because everybody really was cheering for the government with World War II after Pearl Harbor and all this stuff, and everyone was blindly ready to try to go to Vietnam, and then stuff started to come out about Vietnam, and they're like, no, we don't want to fucking go. And here we are now, a decade later, with the Cold War, where threats of a Red Scare that never happened, like no bombs were dropped after all this Red Scare shit induced by the government. Now we're in this fallout where everyone's like, what the fuck, you know? And there are some people in small towns like this that were like, no, they wouldn't do that to us. You're just a troublemaker. We can't trust you. Perfect mold right there. Perfect mold for the antithesis that is the Blob. The Blob itself. But again, back to the Blob itself. What'd you think about this guy?
We just talked about what I thought of him.
Like, disgusting. Anything else, though? Like, how did you feel about the special effects that brought him to life? Is he more lively?
So much better. Like, it felt like he had more of a personality. And, like, now that we know he's a virus, it feels weird saying he. But, like, still, he has a personality on its own. And I think this is one of the hardest things to do, is to make an object or, like, a setting feel like a character on their own. It's one of my favorite things that people can do. It's one of the reasons that The Night Circus is my favorite book of all time, is because the circus feels like a character, even though it doesn't talk or move or do any of the things.
It kills. This one kills.
The Blob kills. Like, that's like its main function, but it feels like it could be its own thing. It feels like it could be an alien, even if we didn't, like, discover that it was a man-made virus.
Oh, it's wild.
It's weird, the way that it moves, the way that it, the words that I can't say.
The way it sneaks around.
Well, I mean, that goes into movement. But, yeah,
attacks.
It's a phenomenal use of this kind of monster.
And it's funny, because America's stupid, because how is its weakness to cold, and you were going to use it to Russia? The coldest country, one of the coldest countries other than Antarctica, where the original Blob literally was warning about global warming. That's not here. It's just anti-government. And also, it shows how stupid the American government was, because how are you going to make this weapon and have it try to go against Russia, which is one of the coldest countries in the 7 continents other than Antarctica, obviously. Mm-hmm. How are you going to fucking do that? That doesn't make sense. You did great, America. Yay plus. Dumbass. That was a great one. The soundtrack for this was amazing, too. Very 80s coded.
Very 80s.
Like, very synth coded, and I love that for it.
So 80s. But, like, I'm not mad about that. I love a good 80s classic.
How about that ending, though? You want to talk about it?
I'm having a hard time figuring out what you're... Oh, my God!
There it is.
Sometimes I need a reminder. Oh my God.
The priest.
The fucking priest.
Go ahead.
I thought he died.
Explain the whole priest, honey. Explain our side character that somehow is the biggest piece of all this.
Okay, well, when the Blob gets cold, you can find like little gems within
because
the
it's
Blob.
Pieces of him freezing off. Yeah.
And like we saw the a priest character pick up some of these and like put them in a jar, and we didn't really know what happened to that.
Because he literally saw the Blob while he was walking down by himself late at night, go into the sewer after attacking the diner. He goes in the diner, nobody's there, and he sees these pieces.
Thank you for filling in the blanks.
You're welcome.
And towards the end, we see him, and he's at this, what we assume is like a little church, and he's talking to these people. And
his face is scarred. Why?
Because he had an encounter with the Blob, which is how I thought he died.
Well, not just an encounter with the Blob. The government tried to flamethrower him, and the Blob was like, boink, blew up the flamethrower by clogging its hole, and the priest was caught in the stray fire with it.
Yes, that happened.
And he talks about the doomsday.
Yeah, and he talks about the ending coming, and basically one of his people come up and say, like, when is this going to happen? And he just goes, soon, very, very soon, and he holds up the jar.
That's now unmelted.
Yep, that's now, like, the Blob is
and he's like,
to reform.
He's like, the Lord will give me a sign.
Yep, and it's the Blob.
Yep. What'd you think?
That was a crazy-ass ending.
I
was so confused.
It comes full circle, though.
It totally does.
Because I feel like this also, in a way, criticizes the church, which wasn't common back then. It starts criticizing any authority and power, and for religions, it's churches. And I feel like that's a huge thing, because fuck the church. I'll say that, too. Fucking... Oh, don't laugh. You think the same thing, you asshole. I know...
Listen, okay, I have my opinions on religion. I will never knock anybody for believing. I know some people need that faith, need something to believe in. Just don't be a rude asshole about it.
Don't be the church.
Yeah.
Don't be the church.
That too.
That's literally it. But anyways, so I feel like that was contributing because this priest served no other purpose other than seeing these pieces, thinking God's sending him a sign, and then the Blob actually comes, and then instead of running away with everyone else, he goes, "This is a sign from God. The end times is near." And then he gets burnt, and then he basically develops a God complex and leads people into sermons, thinking he survived because God wanted him to be the messenger.
And that's how cults start.
And that is exactly it. So as much as we're criticizing the government in this film, I feel like because churches were big pieces of power then and now, that was a subtle knock at power itself because that felt cool. That felt cool. And like, it felt like, you know, him surviving with that Blob piece, it felt like, hey, be wary of all authority, not just the government, because these people in churches are a lot more deceiving than you think. And I thought that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Because that is so true now, especially after all these, like, scandals with churches and popes and all these priests and the horrible shit they do. I feel like that rings so true now. And this was one of the... this film felt like a Brian. The encapsulation of Brian. Mm-hmm. Where, yeah, the government is one thing. Everyone started to feel that way. But churches? Mm-hmm. That was still, like, a thing people really relied on. Like, yeah, stuff was starting to get there, but it wasn't until the 90s and 2000s where shit really hit the fan, and then it's doubled and snowballed into what it is now. Mm-hmm. So, I feel like this movie was a Brian where everybody didn't pay attention to that one part and just thought it was a cool to-be-continued situation. But in retrospect, let's be honest, that was a very huge anti-power scene as well.
Yeah, I think this movie had more of a message than the original. I mean, obviously, like, the original did have a message, but this one was
global warming. Just out of nowhere, though.
This one was more relevant.
And,
global warming is relevant. But this one is more challenging.
Oh, yeah. And I think that's what the 80s and 70s sci-fi did best. It showed horrors through aliens and man-made things that get out of control, like artificial intelligence and aliens, like the xenomorph and the body snatchers and the man-made virus. Like, whether it's man-made or something out of this world, it's a threat that humanity is not far off from. Whether it's, you know, doubling and losing emotion and just deconstructing American or just all-around civilization, or it's the government destroying you from within without any extraterrestrial help. The biggest thing around these decades in sci-fi was that man is the scariest thing that'll fuck up the future. And you know what? Boy, is it ever relevant now. So, anything else you want to say about this remake that you didn't like or like at all?
Dean Winchester said it best. I can handle monsters. People are scary.
Oh, yeah. Anything else you want to say about this remake? Anything you didn't like, even?
No, but I think we should wrap this up because we're starting to get some weird lighting with the sun going down.
Oh, yep. Jesus is saying, that's enough of talking, my priest boy. He's like, you leave my priest alone. Anything else you want to say?
Honestly, no. I loved this movie. I thought it was leaps and bounds better than the original.
Yeah.
I don't say this about remakes very, very often.
No, you don't.
But sometimes I think they are needed, especially when it's a 30-year difference and they didn't have much technology in the 50s, at least none that they really showed off.
The biggest thing also is that they didn't just copy paste it completely. Yes, Invasion of the Body Snatcher especially had some beat by beat moments, but what really makes these remakes impressive for Sci-Fi is they used the otherworldly weird shit, whether it's man-made or not, and I say that a lot this episode, I'm sorry, but it's true for Sci-Fi. They used whatever the threat is that is incomprehensible at first. They construct it into a theme that's relevant for society that is basically either on a collision course or is already there for the future that'll doom humanity.
Yeah.
And that the science fiction isn't so much fiction. They could have easily just done global warming for the Blob again, because global warming is still very relevant, obviously, especially where we're at now with the doomsday clock getting close to midnight. I think the fact that they constructed this to be around themes that are destroying society, especially a government, and deconstructed values of civilization in American society, especially in the 70s. I think the fact they used these movies as vessels for those themes instead of just copy-pasting, that's how you do a remake. And it's not like now where remakes are remade, you know? Not even like a remake. You're just putting it in live action in the case of How to Train Your Dragon and Moana.
There is nothing wrong with taking liberties for remakes, but you have to do it in a way that makes sense. I know a lot of people were mad about the Lilo and Stitch remake.
Yes, that's a good one. Final Fantasy VII, 3-part remake. That is remade to hell and back. There's some liberties in there from the late 90s video game. I almost said 2001. PS1 video game where it's so much more different, but it has its own shit to say while still kind of staying true to the original. I think Final Fantasy VII Remake, its trilogy, The Blob, and Invasion of the Body Snatchers are the best examples how to do a remake in my mind.
Yeah,
Keep the core ideas in regards to plot. Keep the core plot pieces in what made these threats and stories so relevant. Reconstructure everything else around it, though, to stick with the times and be memorable. Because the world is ever changing, and our definition of science fiction continues to change more and more. Back to the Future science fiction. We were supposed to have hoverboards and flying cars. The Jetsons was the same thing. You know, the Jetsons in the 50s and all that, in the 60s. I think it was 50s, 60s the Jetsons came out, right? I forget.
You're asking the wrong person.
I could be wrong. I didn't grow up with those cartoons. But
oh, the Jetsons.
The Jetsons. Wow, the Jetsons.
I don't even know what the heck you're talking
about. Fuck. Okay, the Jetsons.
The Jetsons?
I think they were 60s, right? Was it 60s and 50s? I could be wrong. I don't remember, but either way, that was a time where we thought we were gonna get flying cars and all that shit. And sci-fi now compared to back then.
62.
Okay, yes. So sci-fi back when the Jetsons started, for example, and even back to the original Invasion of the Body Snatchers, when that started, we thought we were gonna have some utopian society with the Jetsons. No matter what the outcome was with sci-fi, we were gonna have some cool shit by the time we're in now. And now that we're looking at sci-fi media now, it's not always high tech, but it's still bleak. If anything, bleaker. I think the most relevant piece of sci-fi that kind of hits the mark, even though we don't have the complete space travel, is Blade Runner, which we're going to talk about eventually too. I think the most relevant piece is Blade Runner, because goddamn, does that feel more accurate every day, even though we haven't gotten androids like that.
Yeah.
But, again, keep your core values of what made things intimidating. Not core values, because the value is going to change depending on what decade and the time you put this in if you're a good remake. Do not be copy-paste. Take some of the ideas, And what made these things great? Put them in a blender of everything else and let that motherfucker ride. And that's how you make a good remake. And that's that.
Yeah.
Anything else, honey?
No. I think we can wrap it up.
All right.
And move on to... I don't even know what we're doing next. We have to talk to Ben.
Did I reach out to Ben?
And see when he is available, because I need to know what movies I'm watching next.
We can always just do family next and buy Ben more time.
Yeah, we might just do the kids ones. If we're doing the kids ones, we will be watching The Iron Giant and E.T.
These ones are sci-fi, but they're a lot less intimidating in regards to like their weirdness.
Yeah, I'm excited. Look at that. You said this one's going to be nice and easy, nice and short, and it's an hour.
Well, it's still easy, isn't it?
Liar.
It's still easy, isn't it? Fuck you. Fuck you, Filbert.
Excuse me.
What?
Nice words.
Oh, I'm sorry. Fuck you kindly, Filbert. There you go. But
get a fiance.
But no, this is gonna be an interesting breath of fresh air for you because these are sci-fi movies still, but they tone down so much.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see after how hardcore some of these movies could go.
I have seen E.T., but it was when I was very, very young. I don't remember anything about it other than Drew Barrymore is in it.
Yeah.
And I've never seen The Iron Giant, and I'm actually really excited about this one.
Okay, cool. That's it then.
So,
which do you prefer, the original or the remake of these movies? What is your favorite remake? It doesn't have to be sci-fi. I guess start a conversation about remakes, even though you're wrong probably about Lilo and Stitch. If you say you like the remake of Lilo and Stitch, I'm gonna have to.
No,
I'm gonna have to worry. No. I'm gonna have to worry about you because clearly you're a pod person. Just saying. But yeah, let us know what you prefer between these, original or remake. What is your favorite sci-fi remake or original and remake duology? What do you think? I don't think there's many remakes in sci-fi, but who knows? I could be wrong. Yeah, that's it. I'm tired.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us in the Catch-Up Corner. We will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.